Hi guys, welcome to the second edition of my series, Getting Over It, where I try to explain various ways of how our minds can work and different ways of looking at certain elements of life, especially when it comes to social interactions with others. As I'm planning out all of the topics of the series, I kind of realized that some of the ideas will need to be spread across various videos because some of them will require the understanding of a different element first. I'm trying to make those videos to be very specific to a singular thing, and I'm hoping to kind of be able to separate the ideas between them as I create the videos. So today what I want to talk about is the idea in general of the social interaction. When you look at social interactions, be it at work, in the school, in the public, with your friends, every single interaction kind of requires you to take on a specific role depending on what you're doing and who you are. So let's say you are at work and let's say you're serving customers on a till. You're expected to exhibit certain behaviors and do certain things and say certain things when dealing with the customer. At the same time, when you are a patient in the hospital or you are going to see your GP, you are expected to behave in certain ways. Now, as we grow up and we observe the society, you can observe people and how they behave and what reactions they have to different behaviors, both in places like media, series, TV series, or in public, in school, or when you're out with your friends, or even in a pub or a dance floor. You kind of learn what behaviors are accepted or expected by others in what situation. This also happens for all kinds of situations. Some of the places and situations require to be serious, be it the end of your school, a work meeting in some cases. Some of the situations require you to act more politely, be it sitting in a restaurant and using your knife and fork if it's a nice restaurant that you're going to visit that kind of has an etiquette. So there is an element of expectation, and the expectation kind of works both ways. When you go to a place, you will have certain expectations of what you want there to happen, and the place and people in this place will often have expectations of how they expect you to behave or even look like when it comes to places like a party, etc. As we grow up, again, we kind of observe those things or we learn from others on how we're supposed to behave, and then without thinking, we react in the ways that align with the expected behaviors from others. Now, apart from the examples I mentioned, which were quite of a standard examples, there is also the kind of bad events, as I used to call them. So let's give an example of a mediocre bad event. Let's say someone on the street is openly attacking and calling you names, so attacking you verbally, right? In this situation, by understanding of how this scenario can work out and what's actually happening, you will feel threatened, you will feel attacked by somebody, and very often you might feel bad because, somebody is just attacking you verbally in this moment of time. This happens because you both probably saw this kind of situation happening in movies, series, or you can tell that the person is being aggressive towards you, therefore you feel threatened and you can't understand why. When this situation is happening, what you can actually do is, as I call it, break the fourth wall, like in the movies, and step outside of this moment and look at it from a third person. Stop playing the act of being part of this experience and being very ingrained and within what is currently happening, and see it from the outside. There's a person that is shouting at you. They are raising their voice, which is making you feel threatened. That person, in a way, is playing the role in the act, in the scenario of this social interaction. They have witnessed or learned that if they shout at you and be aggressive to you, they will be able to affect you emotionally and make you feel threatened, make you feel worried. While you at the situation kind of play the role of the victim, as you are being defensive, you're trying to avoid this interaction, and also this interaction is affecting you emotionally in the negative way. What I want to convey to you in this video is that you can control the meaning that you ascribe to events that are happening to you. So you can't change the actual event. Obviously, at this point, unless you are maybe a stronger person, you will be unable to stop this person from shouting at you. However, the way you see this experience and the way this experience will affect you is up to you. What do I mean? How does that work? When you step outside and look at the event that is happening, this person is in a public place, probably on the other side of the street, and they are currently shouting at you and they are being aggressive. Now, shouting and being aggressive is not a very cultured thing to do. Obviously, they would very often be using various bad words to kind of describe you in the bad light. At this moment in time, they have been, for some reason, emotionally affected and triggered by you just walking on the street and existing, and they are using the lowest level of reaction and intimidation, which is shouting in a public place, to make you feel threatened and to affect you emotionally, because you have affected them emotionally first by just existing. Can you see where I'm going with this? Given that what they are trying to do is affect you emotionally to make themselves feel superior, given the situation, you have already affected them emotionally by doing nothing, by just existing. Also, they are shouting at you in a public place, which clearly, very clearly, shows you that they are much, much less cultured person than you actually are. So, if we sum those things up, they are behaving much less culturally than yourself. They are being openly rude in public to you, and they are trying to get back at you for affecting them emotionally by just existing. My dear listener, who's winning? Who's here clearly being the better person in this situation? You could say that this person, by behaving the way they do, is, without you doing anything, telling you that you are a better person than them in multiple ways. You could say that this person is openly praising you by behaving in the ways that are seen as derogatory and of a low culture. And this is what I mean when I say that you control the meaning you ascribe to the events. Now, this deconstruction of the events can effectively be done and applied to every situation in life, to every social interaction. to every scenario. And at every single one of them, you are able to break the fourth wall and either stop behaving in a way the person expects you to behave, or analyze and understand the event in a way that's more beneficial to yourself. Now, when it comes to the deciding on the meaning, how do you decide on the meaning, right? In my opinion, and what I found works the best, is to always try to decide on the meaning of the events that will make you feel less hurt, that will make you feel better, that will make you feel more okay with the events that has happened. I have another example for you. When I was younger, and I was quite poor in my past, I was looking for a job at the sandwich shop, and I lived quite far away from the sandwich shop. So I had to use a bike, and now by bike I mean a bicycle, not a motorbike, to kind of get to the job place from my place. And it took me about 20 minutes on a bicycle, and I had to go down a very steep slope to kind of get to the place, and then I had to ride up the hill to go back. As I went and parked my bike in the shopping center, I have went into the shop, and after a short interview, I did get a job. This made me happy. I finally had some work, as I had to pay for my studies and for my place to live. So I proceeded to exit the shop and go back home. Now, unfortunately for me, when I went outside of that shop, my bike was gone. I have not locked it on the kind of bike racks that were outside of the shop in the shopping center, and somebody has stolen my bike. Now, this meant that I've got the job, but I'll have to walk all the way from my place to the workplace without having a bicycle. I could see those events in a negative light, right? I could see it as, well, now instead of being able to get to work fast and without being tired, I'll have to walk all this distance, right? And I could spend the rest of the day feeling quite negative and sad about the event that happened. But what benefit would that bring me? None. I would waste the rest of the day feeling bad about the bike being lost, probably beating myself about the bike being lost and blaming myself for not locking the bike in. I only see negatives in here. Instead, I tried to change the way I see this event because, as I said before, I am in control of the meaning of the situation. Therefore, I said to myself, well, yes, I will have to walk all this distance to my workplace right now. But there is some kid that for some reason has to steal from other people, and they probably right now are very happy that they have managed to steal my bike. And you know what? That thought that someone else just gotten a new item, even with my costs, was a better thing for me to focus on and to see this event as it has led me to feel better for the rest of my day rather than feeling negative. So I hope with those two examples, I kind of managed to explain to you how you can't change the event, but you can change how the event affects you and how do you see it. And that will always be up to you. Now, obviously, some of the events won't be possible to be converted to a good thing. And with those events, I believe that they can be seen as an experience that have taught you something about an event, a scenario, or even about how other people feel when similar things can happen to them in their life. Mistakes and bad events can make you grow, but it doesn't mean you're friends. It's one of the favorite quotes of mine. A master of anything usually failed more times than a newbie even tried. Thank you for watching my second video of the series, and I hope I will see you in the third installment. Goodbye.